The solar eclipse was just a few days ago. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it because it was raining on that day and Vancouver was too far north of the moon's path. But here's a dark eclipse. This is the 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross Noir. That means it has black wheels, black lug nuts, black badges, and a black grille, among other things. But what else does this bring to an already crowded subcompact crossover SUV market? Let's go for a drive and find out. Let's start with what is possibly the most unique aspect of the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, its warranty. Here in Canada, it comes with a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer new vehicle and a 10-year, 160,000 kilometer powertrain warranty. So if you want peace of mind, then definitely a Mitsubishi is the car to go for. Having that 10-year powertrain warranty will definitely ease your mind if, say, the engine decides to call it quits and go on strike permanently. You don't have to worry about spending thousands of dollars for a replacement or to repair it. Speaking of which, it is a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and it produces 152 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Now that isn't very powerful, but because it is turbocharged, peak torque comes in at 2000 RPMs and it's sustained all the way up to 3500 RPMs. So in everyday traffic, when you're setting off from a stop, it actually feels quite peppy. On highways, you will need to leave yourself a little bit more of a gap when you make a lane change to overtake a slower moving vehicle, but overall it's pretty standard for this class of vehicle. Mind you, there are some other competitors that do offer more powerful engines than this one has. Paired with the engine is a CVT automatic, and as CVTs go, there's nothing really too special about this one. It does replicate virtual gears, so you have a few of them to fool around with, and you have metal paddle shifters to pull on. But at the end of the day, it still is a CVT, so it's there to try and provide the best fuel economy. However, this car is not that fuel efficient. It is rated for 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. Now on highways, it is possible to get slightly better fuel economy than that, but in a city, I have noticed my average fuel economy increase every time I was driving on streets or just being stuck in gridlock traffic. I am currently averaging 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers, so definitely not an efficient car, but it is possible to achieve the rated fuel economy numbers. Mitsubishi prides itself on their super all-wheel control system. But that was in the past with the Lancer Evolution and Lancer Ralliart. These new crossover SUVs have a center differential that controls front to rear power distribution, but they don't have any locking front or rear differentials to control the power from side to side. That's done by the brakes, just like many other crossover SUVs. There is a button on the center console to select from normal, gravel, or snow conditions, which will alter the characteristics of the all-wheel control system, but it doesn't make the Eclipse Cross any more entertaining to drive. The steering feels numb but light for ease of maneuverability, and there is a bit more body roll through corners than some other subcompact crossovers such as the Mazda CX-30 or Kia Seltos. The soft suspension should make for a comfortable ride, but it feels overly floaty over certain roads. If there are dips or road undulations, it's as though the shocks barely prevent the body from settling down. The cabin can become a noisy place once the Eclipse Cross builds up speed. In fairness, this car was equipped with snow tires, which are generally louder than all-season tires, but the noise was more noticeable than in some other subcompact crossovers with similar tires. Additionally, there was a squeak coming from the trunk area when driving over bumps. I can only deduce that it was the foam filler lightly rubbing against the spare tire. The 1.5-liter engine felt smooth, and the engine noise wasn't too intrusive under normal driving conditions. Now looking at the interior of the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, it is a very simple and very straightforward interior. It has buttons for every single function, so the climate control is made up of buttons. The heated seats are 2 toggle switches. It has a very straightforward gear selector, and has a volume knob and a tuning knob for the radio. Now the actual design of this interior does feel a little bit dated compared to some of the newer subcompact crossover SUVs that are on the market. But as I said, this one is very simple and straightforward to use. And also one thing that I really like about this interior is the use of their materials. Although on the surface it does look like they are cheap, and they probably are, but at least it is soft touch. So from the dashboard to the top of the door panels, and especially the center and the door armrests, they are very, very soft and well padded. I like that very much. However, it does still have hard and scratchy plastics on the lower portions, but that makes sense because it does need to be tough. However, the one material that I don't like about this interior is all this gloss black on the center console. It looks really bad because it really highlights dust, fingerprints, and scratches. So after a long time, this is not going to look good unless you really, really take care of it. The seats are a little bit of a mixed bag for my body type because these bolsters on the side, they kind of dig into my back. It would be nicer if they were just a little bit wider at this point. But in terms of padding and the material, it feels nice and it has plenty of padding. I don't feel like as though my bum is getting numb after a really long road trip in this car. Also, I do like the paddle shifters because they're made out of real metal and they feel nice to the touch. In terms of interior space, up here in the front seats, I have enough legroom. Headroom is okay, but it does feel like I'm sitting really high up. This is as low as the seat goes, so I still have good visibility, but to me it just feels like you're sitting a little bit higher up than you would be in some other subcompact crossover SUVs. So with that, let's go check out the back seats now. One unique feature about the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross is the dual pane sunroof. Now this one doesn't open, it's only the front one that opens, but with the sunshade retracted, it does let in a lot more light in these back seats. With the black upholstery, black headliner, and tinted windows, it can get quite dark back here. So having this is really nice. In terms of interior space behind my taller than average 6'4" driving position, it's pretty okay. I mean, my knees are right in the back of the front seat, but thankfully it is soft leather, not hard plastic on the back of these front seats, so they don't feel too squished. However, as you can see, headroom is not that great, but these back seats do recline a little bit. So in the more reclined position, I do have a bit more headroom, but I can still feel my hair brushing up against the headliner a little bit. Behind the seats, the Eclipse Cross further trails behind some competitors. It has 663 liters with all rows of seats up and 1,419 liters with the second row seats folded. The Mazda CX-30 has less cargo capacity across both rows, with the Toyota Corolla Cross having less behind the second row, but all other subcompact crossovers like the Honda HR-V or Kia Seltos have more cargo capacity. There is a spare wheel under the trunk floor, and the Eclipse Cross can be equipped with a power liftgate. So what are you going to be paying for the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross? Well, it starts at $29,400 Canadian, thereabouts, while this Noir trim will set you back almost $38,000 Canadian. For that price tag, the Eclipse Cross does have quite a few convenience features. Some of the highlights include the dual pane sunroof, surround view cameras. Unfortunately, they are very low resolution, but you can quickly display a bird's eye view via a button on the steering wheel. There's also heated front and rear seats along with the heated steering wheel, dual zone automatic climate control, the power liftgate that I mentioned earlier, keyless entry with push-button start, and there's also a head-up display available on the topmost trim level. The touchscreen measures 8 inches in diameter, but the infotainment system that it displays looks very old. It has the basics like AM/FM radio, Bluetooth, and satellite radio, along with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. But while CarPlay is wireless, Android Auto is still wired. Additionally, the graphics and menu structure is more 2004 than 2024. So in the end, in good conscience, I can't really recommend this Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. There's nothing about it that really stands it out in a very competitive part of the market. I mean, yes, it does have that really long warranty, but in the United States, Hyundai and Kia also have the exact same warranties. And Hyundai has the Kona, which is bigger than this and less expensive. And Kia has the Seltos, which is more powerful, can be equipped with the exact same features as this, and is also a little bit less expensive. Or if you want something fun to drive, there's the Mazda CX-30 for the same price as this. Or if you want something much more fuel efficient, there's the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. Try saying that fast 3 times. The one that I said was too expensive for the Canadian market, and yet it costs exactly the same as this Eclipse Cross Noir. Or if you really want to save a lot of money, there's a Chevrolet Trax. Now granted, the Trax doesn't have all-wheel drive like this one, but you are saving a heck of a lot of money compared to this. So again, the Eclipse Cross just doesn't have that X factor. All of these other cars, they do have something that sets them apart in a very crowded part of the automotive market. And that's kind of the frustrating part, because Mitsubishi has the Outlander and the Outlander PHEV, which are great SUVs, and I would recommend those. But this, I just can't do it. However, if you would like to know more about this 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, I have a written review with a few more details about it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely another SUV like this one. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.